Hello everyone, I'm Suzanne Wylie and I'm the CEO of Northern Ireland Chamber. So I've been in this role for 2 years now, a really exciting role because it's a business membership organisation for businesses of all sizes, all sectors, right across NI. And I guess my job as the CEO is really to empower my team to help member businesses grow and be more successful, but also really to drive the economy forward from a business perspective. I believe the qualities of a great leader are really those softer, more intangible skills, and I'm sure we'll talk about them a lot during this interview. But first and foremost, I guess, I think a great leader has to have vision. They have to have clarity of purpose, and it has to be all about the success of the organisation. I love the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, and I always talk about it, right? Consistency. But he really says that a good leader is really all about the success of the organisation, not so much about their personal success, and it's about real professional will and real drive and desire and humility as well on the part of the leader. So I absolutely concur with what he says. I also think though you have to be able to bring people with you. If you've got that vision, if you know you want to take the organisation and you listen to people as well, you then have to be able to motivate your team and bring them with you as well towards that vision. They have to buy into it. I also believe a leader has to care, really, and I mean care about the success of the organisation, but also care about the people who work with them and are going to really deliver on that vision too. And I really believe in honesty and authenticity as well as a leader. And then of course there's resilience, and I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about resilience, right? Sure. But resilience is really important because as a leader, everybody's watching you, everybody looks to you. And so when the chips are down, when things go a bit off script, you have to be able to pull the organisation back together again and keep everybody moving in that direction. I value real honesty in people. I value people who work well in teams as well. Because I think that's how you get real momentum, that's how you get great ideas coming forward. And you can really only deliver properly when you work in teams, because we have all got different skills. And I think the success as a good leader is to recognise the different skills, abilities and that people have within your team and utilise them to the best degree. And I also really value people who want to work hard, people who actually want success for the organisation as well as their own personal success too. And that's very unique. So, you know, the job of the leader is really to try and bring that out of people and out of the team. But loyalty to the organisation and honesty and, you know, good communication, etc. with the team is really important. So I've been asked this question a number of times about my biggest influence, and I can't say it's one person, right? Because I don't think there's any one person who's perfect at all. And I think you look at different leaders over time and you pick and choose the things that are relevant to you and relevant to your situation at that point in time about what you learn from them. But I do remember my first ever boss, a guy called Hanna. He became Chief Executive of Belfast City Council. He always taught me from day one when I went into that job, if you have great ideas, come and tell me, and gave me real opportunities to try out things. And even when you made mistakes, etc., he allowed me that leeway. And actually that created a mindset from the very beginning of my career that I could actually do that, and it was worth trying out different ideas and new things from the get-go. I also worked with Therese McGivern over the years. She was head of Belfast Met and her energy levels were just phenomenal. And of course, you know, when you've got this kind of bright light of energy, people really want to congregate around that, and they buy into that, right? And I could see how important that was as well. But she also took her downtime as well, and kind of, you know, restored her batteries too, and quite a few lessons for me on that, because I can tend to drive myself a bit too hard sometimes. So I always think of her when I do that. So I don't think you ever, as a leader, say that you've absolutely achieved success, because there's still so much more to do, right? And you're still so much more ambitious for your organisation as well in terms of success and this place, right? But I started life as an environmental health officer, so very different career than I currently am involved in. But really character building, right? Because started day one and I was sent out down to the landfill site in Belfast to take methane samples down manholes, right? Where worms were in my hair, and you know, really I think they were testing my character to see could I go out and do those things, and thrown into the deep end of lots and lots of different things. But I also was able to travel around this whole city in Belfast and experience the different, you know, different conditions that people lived in and people worked in, and that really set me up for some of the careers for the future, because you get an understanding of place from doing that, and I'll come back to that. So the long career in public sector, and in 2014 became Chief Executive of Belfast City Council, and that was first female in that role, which they did make a big thing about at that time. And but I say that because you know, the expectations of moving into a big role like that, and everyone looking to the leader that they'd already had. It's quite a change for the organisation to have a female leader. And I was always told, oh, you've got big shoes to fill. And I thought, no, I'm just going to wear my own shoes, right? Thank you very much. So decided I was going to very much lead in my own style. And we're touching on a bit of that as we go through this. And it was a time of local government reform, 26 councils down to 11 councils. So lots of change happening, which was great because I love a bit of change, right? So, we had to bring in more people into the city boundary, etc., and provide services to all those people. But we also had to bring in functions from central government as well at the same time. So big challenge. I decided, right, I'm going to go and see how those other chief executives in big cities in the UK operate, what they spend their time on, what they spend their energy on. So off I went to Manchester and Liverpool and Cardiff and Edinburgh, and could see that they were all shaping their cities and places, very focused on the economy, very focused on regeneration, creating jobs, etc. And so that's the direction I took the council in, and had to bring everybody on a journey with me there to kind of point in that direction. So it wasn't just about delivering services, all very important, but really, really growing the success of a place and a city. And one big thing that I really wanted to achieve was to get a growth deal for Northern Ireland. And that was probably one of the biggest challenges, because I was told early on, no, that's not going to happen in Northern Ireland, can't do it here. And I thought, well, we'll see. And I did get a coalition of really great people around me, and that included politicians, that included business people, that included councils from around Belfast, right down to Newry. And in the end, we managed to achieve to get £1 billion of a deal into Northern Ireland to help really boost the economy. And those buildings are now being built all these years later. Then I went off to Jersey. So I always said I'd do the job of CEO of council for about 8 years max. And so it was around that time. Off I went to Jersey to head up the Jersey government. And that all sounds delightful, doesn't it? Heading off to a very sunny island. Big challenges there, you know, because as CEO of Jersey government, You have to make sure that all of the services run smoothly, from running a hospital to running schools, to running children's social care, etc. And it's not easy on a small island, because you're very restricted in terms of budget and the skill set that you have, but a really, really good learning curve for me there as well, and just gave me a whole perspective on what it is actually like to run a very, very small country, who look to the future to say, this is the population that we're going to have, here's where we're going to get our income from to be able to run our services, here's what we need to do in the future to make sure that we're sustainable as an island. So fascinating to be able to have that oversight. And then I came back here, we missed home, came back here to this job in Northern Ireland Chamber, private sector facing, which is fantastic to have made that leap from public sector into private sector, and really, really enjoying this role, particularly focused on trying to remove the barriers to business growth across Northern Ireland. Yeah, well, I have many challenges, as you can imagine, in those jobs that I have talked about. Obviously, in council, it's a political organisation. You don't have one party in control in that council. And so everything is a negotiation. And so that every day you were looking for the political pitfalls or the political opportunities as well to move things forward, but not always easy to navigate, of course, because, you know, I came in after the flags protests had happened, and also where there were issues around bonfires, etc. in the city, and trying to navigate all of that when you had political masters that really I was reporting into 60 councillors in Belfast City Council, and at the same time really trying to move the city on. So so not an easy challenge, but once you really have to get ahead of how the politicians are going to think and get into their mindsets and their shoes, and also understand the communities that they represent as well. And that's what, you know, we did as a management team in Belfast City Council, and it was always our mission to really help that process move forward as well. So I tend to just keep going. I dig deep, right? And I find the adrenaline somewhere that will keep me going. I also, you know, when you're a leader and you're thinking about, you have to think ahead all the time. You nearly have to think about all the potential scenarios and what's going to happen next, and what's the next stage of this and this and this, and to help your team do that as well. And we're all very good at thinking about caring for the team and how, you know, asking them to take a break and go and have a rest for a day or two and bring somebody else in, and having rotas and everything in place. But sometimes you feel like a leader, you know, yeah, I need to do some of those things as well. And I think the more you go through those things and the more you understand yourself and you're more self-aware, the more you are likely to take a wee bit of time, step back for a while, take a bit of a breather, etc. But in my early days, I found that very difficult to do. I think my core values are, first and foremost, authenticity. And I know that word's overused a bit, I think, but it really, for me, what it really means is I like to put my all into my job, right, and my leadership, and so you have to enjoy what you do, otherwise, because for me, it's, you know, it's just part of life, right? And I don't kind of think, here's my job, here's my home life. It just is, right? And so if I wasn't authentic in the job, if I wasn't just me in the job, if I was trying to be somebody else, it would take far too much energy. I think it would, you know, fall over about 5 o'clock every day, which is not the case, right? So I think that's really, really important, and I think people see that too. I think it's actually a really important kind of subtle lesson for people, right? Hopefully, that they see that, you know, you can have these big, big, strong leaders who are banging tables and, you know, out there all the time, and always feeling they have to make the decision there and then, etc. But if you're more authentic, you're there for the long haul, right? And you are, you know, always thinking things through. You've got the best intentions for the organisation right at the foreground, and the best intentions for the team that work for you as well there. And I think that really makes the difference in the long run. So I have learned over the years, I guess, that because of how I work, I have to build things into my everyday. So this morning, when I came in before this interview, I was soaking wet because I cycled in on my bike, and it was probably didn't make a very good decision this morning, but I like to cycle in and out of work as much as I can to try and get that exercise into my day. And I love a bit of yoga, I have to say. That's when I zone out entirely, and just, you know, that hour goes like that. And I also, on Saturdays, right, I started this in Jersey, believe it or not, I called it Firewall Saturday. So, because, you know, whenever you're a leader, you're always thinking, aren't you? You're always thinking about, oh, what can we do next? What great ideas? And, you know, even if every time you meet somebody, it sparks something else, right? But on a Saturday, I kind of nearly zoned out, you know, for a while, right? Which was just about spending a bit of time, trying to not think much about work if I could, going shopping, you know, doing a bit more exercise, and or going for a lovely long walk somewhere with the dogs, and really trying to think, well, I can put that off to Sunday and start thinking about it again then. I think I would encourage others to really find out what they're really passionate about in their roles, and to, you know, think about how they can bring that passion to the fore in their roles, and even chat about that to their managers, their CEOs, whoever, right? About how they can bring that forward, because I really think that if you can really, you know, garner that passion from the team, and, you know, if you're all on a mission to achieve something, and people are feeling really passionate about that success, well, that creates, you know, this amazing momentum and amazing energy in a team and an organisation. So I would absolutely encourage that. I would encourage people to be really self-aware as well. I think that's important to, if you want to become a leader, I think you kind of really need to know about yourself, right? I've done all those personality tests through and through, and I know all my feelings very well. But it is important that you know the things that you're naturally really, really strong on, and the things that you're not so strong on, because we're all different, right? And then you know what to rely on other people for. I also would encourage people to think about their networks and potential mentors. I've at different points in time during my career had different mentors, and they come and go a bit, right? Because it depends what you need at that particular point in time, but it's always a really great time for reflection. You know, if you have a mentor and you're going for a coffee with them, half an hour before, because I like to be prepared, you think to yourself, oh, what was I supposed to do from the last time? And you kind of just take that little bit of time out to really reflect on yourself and how you're delivering, right? And whether you're actually living up to your own expectations as well as how you should be delivering and leading in the workplace. So self-awareness and just asking people for a bit of help, because people are really, really willing, particularly in business, are really willing to help, and really willing to, you know, help you find your career path as well. I loved Morocco, right? We travelled there with my family a couple of times, and it's just that kind of culture kind of shock, really. And we didn't stay in one place. Went to the Atlas Mountains, went to the coast, went to Marrakesh, etc. And it's just so different from this place, and your senses kind of are tested in lots and lots of different ways. And I kind of like the fact it's a bit edgy as well, and you have to be confident when you're going out in the streets and the souks and things like that. So I think, yeah, those kind of places where you're just taken to a different culture entirely. I also love Japan. So my daughter lived there for about 6 months, and I was really, really lucky because when I went out, she'd been there, so she knew exactly where to go and what to do. But again, just observing the different culture there was absolutely fascinating. Nobody runs anywhere. Nobody eats or drinks in streets or on the trains, or so very disciplined, and people work for very, very long into their old age, etc. as well, which is really interesting to see. So everybody has a job, everybody has a place and a purpose, and it just is a beautiful, beautiful place. Okay, you see, I'm obviously not very good at just doing one thing, am I? So book, right? I kind of like a book which is, there's a bit of story in it, but a bit of history mixed in there as well, right? So I really loved A Thousand Splendid Suns. That's one book that stands out for me. I really loved that because I really, to understand what was going on in Afghanistan and etc. at that point in time, but also the story of this woman, which was incredibly sad. So I like a book that makes me cry, but also makes me interested in a bit of history. I guess I've always remembered some of the books that you grew up with, like To Kill a Mockingbird and those kind of things that always have an influence on you later on in life. Obviously that was all about prejudice and racism, etc., and it always has had an influence on me. Movies. Do you know what? I like something you can really switch off to, and this probably comes back to where I, recharge my energy from. So something that you really don't have to think too much about and sit and watch on a Saturday night. But one that always stands out, I guess, for me, because which is The Big Short, which can. Very strange movie to say that this is one of your favourite movies, but it actually in a very entertaining way explained how the financial crash happened, right, which I never quite understood, shorting and all of those kind of financial technical terms, and what is it, subprime, etc. was. So that helped me to understand how the financial crash happened, but entertained me at the same time. I'd love to be an interior designer. I just, honestly, I mean, it's so far from what I do, right? But yet, feels like I just love looking at houses and how people have decorated them, and love looking at, pictures of them, love going to stately homes and staying around them. And so it's just a real passion. It just gives me joy to do that in my own house and to look at other people's. I really think that's probably about self-belief, and I think when I was 20, thinking back, honestly, I think I struggled with self-belief for a very long time, and confidence and believing that you could do certain things and that you potentially could be a leader. It took me quite a long time to actually get to this stage in life, and so I think that probably held me back a little bit, and there's a bit of a Northern Ireland thing there as well, isn't there? I do think that for our young people these days, I think they have much more self-belief than they previously had. So, gosh, this is a hard one. So let me see. I did have a bit of a misspent youth in my day. and I used to sneak out to concerts where I probably wasn't really supposed to be at some of those concerts. So when I was 15, I went to the McMorty Hall, which is the Queen's Mandela Hall now, right? I went to see U2. I don't think my parents knew where I was. And there were only about 100 people at that concert. They just released their album Boy at that stage, and so they weren't really that well known. And I went along, and it was really class. It was really great. I have, great ambitions to grow the business even more. It's a really strong business, and we have grown it over the last few years, but to grow it even more, because I really want businesses in Northern Ireland to have FOMO of not being part of the chamber, and because we're there really to drive the economy forward for the businesses of Northern Ireland. So absolutely, that is my mission, to make sure that they see the value they get from NI Chamber. Like every leader, you want to, you come into an organisation and it's in this, it looks like this, right? At that time, you're in the organisation and its success is at a certain level. You absolutely want to take the success to the next level, and you want to develop the people within the organisation that they can take over from you and take it to another level again, right? So that's really, really important. But I think, just going back to those kind of leadership skills, I would love people to look back on my time here and think, authentic leadership is important, and caring about people is really important in leadership. So just to kind of think about those values, I guess, and to underscore how important those are.